Welcome! In this series of short videos, we will give an introduction to those who have never used Power Basic before or even considered taking up programming. Today we will look at more arithmetic operators in Power Basic. Today we're going to be concluding our series on arithmetic operators. In order to demonstrate today's operators, we're going to imagine that we're the owner of a hotel. This hotel has a number of rooms which is fixed. And each day we will have a number of visitors visiting the hotel. Each room can take a number of visitors. And we need to work out how many rooms are actually going to be needed on any day. So we're going to create 4 local variables to accommodate this calculation. We have one variable for the rooms, one variable for the number of visitors, another variable for the visitors per room, and a single variable for the number of rooms needed. We're using a single because the number of rooms needed may involve a decimal point and a fraction of a whole number. So we have set the number of rooms to be a fixed 45. We have set the number of visitors to be 17. And the number of visitors per room to be 2. We're now going to calculate the number of rooms needed by dividing the visitors variable by the visitors per room and printing that out to the console. If we run the application now, we'll see that the answer we get is 8.5. Now, obviously in this case, it will actually be 9 rooms we need in total because one of the rooms will only have one person in it. So to work out the number of fully occupied rooms, we need to do another calculation. We can use the round command to round up the number to a whole number. If we run that now, we'll see it rounds to a value of 8. The round command uses a type of rounding known as banker's rounding. Therefore, if the value is 8.5, because this is halfway between 8 and 9, it will round to the nearest even number. So it will not round up to 9 because 9 is an odd number. It will round down to 8. Another way of doing this calculation is to use integer division. Rather than using the backslash between the two variables, we will use the forward slash. What this does is it gives you the value of the division without any decimal point calculation. If we run that now, it will tell us the number of full rooms is 8. So as we know, we have 8 fully occupied rooms and 1 room which is only partially occupied. This is an easy way of working out how many this is. We can use the mod command in Power Basic to return the modulus. This is the value of the remainder after our division. In this case, we simply put the 2 variables, in this case the visitors, mod visitors per room. This will return a value which is the number that is left over after our division. And it tells us here that we have 1 room which is half full. So an integer division gives you an easy way of knowing the result without having to take into account any remainder. And the modulus command gives you a mechanism for returning the value of the remainder itself. So in our hotel we have a conference room, and the people attending your hotel are going to be setting up trade stands. So we want to work out how many trade stands we can actually fit in to the conference room size. So we're going to create another 2 local variables to allow us to keep track of that. One for the conference room size and one for the trade stand size. So we're going to set the size of the conference room to be 25. In this case, this will be 25 by 25 meters. The trade stand size is 5, which will be 5 by 5 meters. We can work out the amount of floor space taken up by a trade stand by using one of the other operators, the exponential. We do that by taking the variable, the little up arrow sign, and in this case 2. This gives us the size in square meters, and we'll do the same for the room. This tells us that each trade stand occupies 25 square metres, and the size of the conference room is 625 square metres. To work out the total stands, we can take the square root of the conference room size. In this case, we're taking the conference room size squared, and we're taking the square root using the square root command. SQR is an optimized routine within Power Basic to do very fast square roots. And this tells us we can have a total of 25 stands in our conference room. The other way of doing a square root without using the SQR command is to take our variable squared to the power of 1 divided by 2, which is effectively the square root. However, you will find the SQR command does operate slightly faster. So what if we want to take the value 2 to the power of 2 squared? How can we do that in code? That is similarly expressed as 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 2. If we run our application now, we'll see that gives us a value of 16, which is 2 times 2 times 2. So to calculate the power of any number, we merely have to express it as 2 up arrow 4 to give us 2 to the power of 4. As we saw a moment ago, there are two ways of calculating square roots. You can use the SQR command with the value in brackets that you wish to have the square root of, or you can have a value to the power of 1 divided by 2 to get the square root. This will give you exactly the same result. In this case, 2. So if you want to take cubes or cube roots of a number, we can use exactly the same approach. 3 cubed would be 3 to the power of 3, which would be a value of 27. The cube root of 27 would be 27 up arrow and in brackets 1 divided by 3, indicating that we want the cube root. If we run that now, we will see 3 cubed is 27 and the cube root of 27 is 3. This gives you a very quick way using Power Basic's extended precision variables and values to work out a cube root. It can also be used for a quad root. If we're taking 3 to the power of 4, and that would give you a value of 81. And the quad root of 81 can be expressed as 81 up arrow and in brackets 1 divided by 4, indicating that we want a quad root. If we try running that now, it will tell us 3 to the power of 4 is 81, and the quad root of 81 is indeed 3. This should conclude our series of arithmetic operators for Power Basic. Hopefully you'll find this code useful in your applications, but that's it for today. Thank you for watching.